Today it is time to harvest our sweet potatoes. So we did a little bit of a sneak peek on this. We harvested one row. And
wasn't so good.
Well, we say that, but they did quite well.
But now we're how many weeks later?
I think we're 2 or 3.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see an improvement.
Yeah, we'll see what we get. We're very curious. So we're going to start chickens. Sort of the last row of our orange variety. We have 3 varieties to harvest, and we've got a couple different growing methods that we use this year. So we're going to start with those ones, see how they did, because that's the same as what we did in our sneak peek. So here's the row, which you can barely even see the plants in there now. We're going to get all this green off and come back and then start digging and see what's going on under here.
All right, Chris has this all cleared out. The bunnies are enjoying the greens that came off this, and we still have a pile for tomorrow morning. And we haven't even done the other sweet potatoes yet. So we're going to see what happens here. Hopefully we get some good potatoes out of this. But it was amazing how much greenery was on this stuff. So they were definitely healthy plants. We're going to start digging and see what we find.
Maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but that bit of extra time may...
It looks like we've got a bit better... Look at the size of that one. Wow. So yeah, we may have just been a little too early on the other ones, or maybe the soil just wasn't as great over there. I'm not going to get too excited. This is only our first one to dig up, but that is looking like some nice sweet potatoes.
Look at that one.
That is beauty. Twisted, but still beauty. Something new that we're going to try with our homemade cat food. We're going to put all these little kind of corkscrewy sweet potato pieces that normally we would just feed to rabbits and then they end up going to waste. We're going to take them, we're going to clean them up, boil them down, and they're going to get sent through the grinder with all the meat for our cat food. So hopefully that'll work. We've read that cats like sweet potatoes. So the first one was a smashing success. Then we had 2 that were virtually nothing. And now on our number 4, we have another smashing success. So there's definitely mixed feelings towards these sweet potatoes. Oh, we broke that one. That's okay, because that wouldn't have been a nice one. But some really nice ones. The one thing we're commenting is these ones are a lot easier to dig up now that we've had the rain, where the other ones last time on our sneak peek at the sweet potato harvest, it was a very dry time. Like we'd had dry for a very long time. And it was really, really hard to dig them. So these are going a lot better, I think. What do you say, Chris, since you're the digger?
So far, so good. So one thing we were just talking about as we were kind of digging this patch up is some of these we had started quite early, and they were in pots in the house with just basically like potting soil or richer soil. And when we brought them out, the 2 that have had the most sweet potato tubers have had really rich soil around them and really rich soil around the tubers. So it could just be a case that they don't really like our soil the way it is right now, which of course that's something we can work on in the future. But we'll see as we go if this sort of holds true or not. We're on to another big one, and we've made a thought. We've been noticing some of them are this pinkish color, and these pink colored ones
grow nicer.
Yes, they seem to
see,
grow
this
better.
is what the orangey ones are doing, which the orangey ones are the ones we thought were the Beauregard.
But we really don't know.
We don't know, but we're definitely seeing that there has to be 2 different kinds here. We've been growing these for years now, so
never really noticed the difference.
No, but we definitely are thinking the pink ones are the better ones to stick with. But Chris is going to get this one uncovered because so far this is our best one yet. Oh, it's a corkscrew one.
2 of them that grew together.
And then that one's orange. That's got to have come off of a different plant.
Well, this is where we're just not sure what's going on here.
Well, they get vining out under the ground, and you get some that are definitely not from the same plant in that same space.
But the pink ones have more of a
uniform look to them.
Well, and a compact growth habit where they're all kind of...
See, this should
like
be... Oh my goodness, that's still together. From the same plant.
They're all coming together.
Look at that. Okay, I take it back. We could be sweet potato farmers with a bit of work.
Team sweet potato isn't all completely lost?
No, it's going to be tough. Team sweet... I was team potato, but this one is proving to be potentially worth it.
We just have a very heavy soil in here, which I don't think they
Like particularly?
know.
You might be hitting the end now.
No, I got
No,
more.
you still got more. Don't break it.
I didn't. Look
Look at that beauty.
at that. More in there.
There's more?
Yeah. Here's more. And a rock. Really like the growth habit of these. We will be saving
should-
some of these guys.
See how much grew just off this one plant.
The nice part is we're putting them all in the same bucket, but we'll be able to sort them very quick when we lay them out.
Look at this. All off of one plant.
Except that's not the same plant.
No, that one's got to have crept
Let's
over
see,
from somewhere else.
The orange.
But all these pink guys here.
So this is definitely a moment of realization that we can do some selection going forward. For this type.
This guy here is being saved
Like the
for
first year.
seed,
There's
for
three or four
sprouts.
of them in here that
Not
are
sprouts,
pretty
what do you
nice.
call them? Slips next year.
Yeah. Whereas these ones
Are not.
are not. That being said, there has been a few decent ones of these come out. But
They're still awfully weird shaped. See? They're very weird shaped, those orange ones.
So we got another big one. There's the stem. And you can see
It just kind of grew as a big ball of potatoes. Holy!
look at that.
Again, they're the pinkish colored.
And they didn't spread. So I think they don't like
The soil.
the heavier
very well.
soil.
Saying that, there's one.
But there are a lot of little ones out to the side. That being said, I'm going to have to dig around here because that's just coming out of the main.
Look at that
Sort of.
ball of potatoes. Yay! We're growing sweet potatoes like guten gardening. You can pull out a stem and they all come.
And they all come for it. That's a lot of potatoes out of one hill.
Another nice harvest one. Not quite as impressive as that one that we filmed there, but still, there is production. Very happy with that. We're definitely noticing where the ground was better, they've grown in a very upright fashion, would you call it? Which has kept them a nice uniform shape, which is really good. So definitely need some soil improvements. Last one.
We're just finishing up our last one on this in-ground row. See,
It's one of those orange horrible ones though.
it's gone really leggy.
Yeah, we definitely decided we don't like those ones. There's a little bit
Still food.
But from a perspective of, selection and keeping for next year's plants, these will not.
And what grows well in our soil.
The one thing I will say though, at the end of this bed here, you can see this soil's a lot harder packed like clay than what it was at the other end of this row.
We have all the orange ones harvested. So now we're on to some of our raised beds. We're actually going to start with a smaller blue barrel that we put a few in just because we had some extras. But we managed to get 21 pounds of, or 21 and a half pounds I think it was, of sweet potatoes out of that row. So that's not too bad. That's an improvement from the first row. I think that extra 2 to 3 weeks that we were able to give them really made a big difference. Or at least it definitely seemed to make a big difference. So we're going to show you the next bed to come out. Basically these were some extras. I can't even remember what variety they ended up being. But
They were the same ones.
They're the same orange ones? Okay,
yeah.
so this is our last harvest of orange. But we're going to clip back the greens here and then see what we've got to work with. So there it is all cleared out. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 of them in here. So this is fairly easy soil to dig in. So we're going to do this one potentially by hand and see what comes out of here.
We're not expecting greatness from these because these were very late planted. And they weren't the best slips. They were just kind of the last of what we had. Oh gosh, it looks like they went deep if there is anything.
They went deep all right. So there's one that I've uncovered.
It's a beauty.
It's a pretty good sized one.
They like the barrels.
But there's more in there. I can feel them. There's another couple good ones coming out of this. And I still haven't actually worked this one free.
Got another nice one in there. Little guy. Interesting. It'd be a good project for next year to see if we planted them in the blue barrels earlier, what we would have got.
Gotten out of them.
because they seem to really like the loose soil of the barrel and are growing nice and straight.
Well, we have been digging to the bottom of this, and we've gotten everything. Obviously there's some little roots there, but got all the tubers. And here is what we got out of this blue barrel. And I have to admit, even though surface area it's not really a whole lot different than the black totes that we sometimes use for the potatoes and whatnot, I think the depth here really made a difference on the sweet potatoes, because these are the orangey kind of potato and they actually grew really nice, especially compared to the ones in the ground. So
They like the blue barrels.
They like the blue barrels, and we may have some things to think about here going forward. But Stephanie's going to go weigh those, and I'm going to tackle the big patch. This is two separate 4x4 raised beds that are basically full of these sweet potatoes. Now this is a different kind. This is one of the purple varieties that we added this year. So this will be a complete surprise. So we've got this bed like half cleaned out, but I had to dig these up because where the plants had basically jumped over the edge of the bed and rerooted, this was attached, which is fairly impressive considering that's where.
So that's growing from not the original slip, but where the slip rerooted.
Yes, rerooted in the bed.
Wow.
So you can see there's the node.
That's kind of exciting.
That's exciting, because if it did that just where it touched the soil, I'm very curious.
Somebody's looking quite pleased with himself, because I said we were going to get rid of sweet potatoes.
Well, we said we'd see, and we're going to find out.
So another huge pile of greens for the bunnies. They're going to eat well for the next day or two. The big mystery is coming here with the reveal. All the weeds or all the greens are off. I think we did 16 plants in the one square. And do you remember what you put in the other one?
I don't.
Feel anything?
Oh yeah. There's more in there.
So these are kind of the longer, skinny ones.
That's all right if they're productive.
They're going to make good French fries.
Mm-hmm.
There's one right close to the wall.
These would be more like the kind you'd have to cook and then take the stuff out of.
Show one of the ones that you got broke there, though, because it is purple inside.
Yeah, purplish on the inside. So there's one plant. Not terrible. So we're getting there on this bed. One thing we're noticing is they're very deep.
Yeah.
They've gone...
they're not as nicely growing as...
They're a longer, skinny variety, which is all right. They grew quite well, and you really have to dig for them. They're all in different directions from the plant.
Yeah.
But as you can see, we've had to excavate quite a ways down.
They are in there far.
On that note, had they been in the ground, we wouldn't have probably gotten very many of them.
No, we would have been...
Because we are doing okay.
So far, we are sitting at around the 46-pound mark. We ended up with, I believe it was 21.5 pounds from that first in-ground bed. Then our little barrel that we did, the blue barrel, which was surprising, actually was 3 3/4 pounds in there. And I mean, like we said, that's pretty good considering we planted those late and they grew really nice in there, even if they didn't get too many. And then that last bed of those purple ones that we just did was 20 3/4 pounds. Now, the one downfall to them, I think, is you're going to have quite a few that are going to be really tough to use because they're so skinny. But we'll try and get creative and come up with something. But now we're on to the fun bed. What? There's a bed there?
This is our last patch of sweet potatoes. So this is another variety, different one. And we had started, it doesn't look like a bed, but we had started a bed around the back of the greenhouse. We decided, why not? Let's plant these in here. So we did. And they've grown pretty well, at least the green part of them has. But I'm really curious to see what's underneath. So we're going to get this pulled back and see what we're working with. It's cleared out. And like I said, there is a bed here. We didn't finish it though, so it'll be incentive, I suppose, to maybe come back to this project before winter, if we get that far. We'll see.
I'm not holding my breath that there's going to be a lot here. Between being shaded and not a really fertile bed. But we'll see.
Pretty sure there's 12 plants in here, so we'll see what comes out and see what this variety grows like.
So that was our first plant pulled out. Grew beautiful. Now, this is not very deep ground, so I'm sure that's why they got a little stunted in the size and length that they grew. But this is what we were hoping for, was a beautiful bunch of fingers that actually are attached to the plant, rather than those last purple ones that were along
kind of long runners.
Yeah. So these, even if they don't grow well, are definitely going to be tried again next year in a different scenario to see what they do, because they're growing the way we want them.
Yep, they grew as a bunch.
Yeah.
Now, we're pretty sure as we go along, there was 2 rows. So you can see we've actually dug up 2 plants.
We
think the row closest to the building may not produce super fantastic, but we'll keep digging and see.
Finally,
we're done.
Sweet potato harvest is all done. Everything is picked. I think we were pleasantly surprised. It's definitely the best year we've ever done.
It's a lot of them when you get them all laid out.
Yeah.
Which we'll show you here in a second.
Yeah.
Here they are. So this is the last kind we did. So that was the smallest harvest, but we didn't have as many of them, and they didn't have the best situation. So quite happy with what they did produce. These are our orange ones, which and I think that's a lot of our best ones.
There's some nice ones.
There's some nice ones down here too. Quite happy with them. And then these are the ones that were in the raised beds. The
long, skinny purple ones.
Yeah, very long, skinny things that are hard to get out of the ground. But I wouldn't have wanted to have to take them out of the ground. The raised bed was kind of nice. And then we have some little smaller extras over there. But all said and done,
we ended up with 51.5 pounds. So not too bad. I can't remember exactly how many slips we had in the end. I want to say we planted over 50 slips, so...
Possibly. We really don't remember. We'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
We had the brilliant idea, I shouldn't say we, Stephanie had the brilliant idea to bring these in the greenhouse, because of course we've got the wire shelves, to do the curing. So that basically we can leave them out here and not have to worry about covering them and all that fun stuff, and they can cure, because it's still supposed to be nice for the next couple days.
Yeah, we've got 2 days in a row with 24 degrees, which in this greenhouse with the glass and the roof, even with some ventilation, it still ends up getting awfully hot. So these should work out perfect for making them great for storage over the winter time.
So there it is.
51.5 pounds.
Yep, the 2021 sweet potato harvest.